go live. You live yet? Are we live yet?
Trying really
Are we
hard.
live yet?
Cross-eyed at the moment. Oh, there it is.
Are we live yet?
Yeah, look at 9 seconds in. Oh. Got a finger in the lens. What's new? Hey, everybody. Welcome back.
What's up? What's up? It's broke.
The first comment better not be one I just saw.
Yeah, we don't see any comments.
There we go.
Oh. Get in here and sell me some Procure. We will.
As you can
What's
see,
going on? I'm
we didn't
faster
forget
than
it.
the live feed.
We didn't forget our scent. That's for sure.
What's going on? How come
Hello,
it's not
everybody.
streaming yet? Well, Mega Sportsman, it is. Let's talk 6 foot leaders of black corkies. That's the other live feed.
Don't need eggs for that.
Hamley in the house. Is this live? Yes, Kevin.
I
It
put
is
them on
live.
there just for look.
Yay, Kanighi's back. That's right.
Yes.
I don't have to say he's on. Everyone's like, "Where's Jordan?" I'm like, on assignment.
On
I have no
assignment.
idea where he's at.
That's a
He's just
good
on
one.
somewhere. He's on assignment.
Didn't ask, he said.
You just go on.
No, guys, I was in Colorado, and actually, there's an addicted video coming up. I finally finished yesterday. It took a little bit to make while I was out there, but I was on a little staycation for a week or so. And then if you didn't see the other video I made while we were up there in the Rockies, it's on the Stay Fishing channel, so go check that out. It was a lot of fun. It was really cool down there. I've never spent a lot of time in the Southwest, especially in like Southwest Colorado where I was at, and it's breathtaking. Yeah. I mean, it's big country, and I found a couple areas with some giant fish, like big 26, 28-inch browns and cutthroats and stuff. So I was surprised. I thought it was just little mountain trout country, but no, it wasn't. It was pretty cool. So,
See any elk?
yes, everywhere.
Everywhere.
And it was the whole time I was there, all over YouTube. 2022 Colorado bull down, and I'm like, you know, at a fancy hotel.
Catching a little trout.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, I just want to be up in the mountains. It was neat though, cool country, and I'm excited to go back. So that's where I've been.
Well, Jason, the salmon fishing still sucks in Kansas. Hey, Jason, the salmon fishing still sucks in Kansas.
I don't know if that's going to improve.
Oh, yeah, it's going to take a while to get them over there. I mean, we're having a hard enough time over here, right?
Yeah.
What makes you think they're going to get them over there? I don't know why we keep talking about that, because it's going to be a long time there on that new channel stuff. There's like 3 people are calling, everyone's asking. It's like, it's going to be a while, guys. Just you'll know.
It's coming.
You'll hear.
Keep talking about it.
You'll hear about it. You'll know.
Keep commenting. Don't worry about
You'll
it.
hear. No, I'm just saying, like, I don't want to be like, oh, it's gonna be like backpacks this summer.
Well, hopefully you don't lose the whole first
October
couple.
backpacks.
Yeah, it'll be even longer because we're gonna lose the first couple episodes and then postpone the release a couple more weeks, and then
right.
Hard
Hard
Yeah,
drive
we're gonna
crash
squash
on the
the hard
first
drive.
episode.
Just don't ask. It's bad luck.
see, I was just trying. That's exactly what I was trying to do. And yeah, no, it's gonna be good. It'll be fun.
Where's the Kool-Aid Procure? That's actually would be pretty funny. They go, oh yeah, like do the whole commercial and everything.
We need Jason in a red suit.
Yeah, just
Bust through the wall.
we'll have Jared
salmon eggs in each hand.
Botham do it. Yeah, just oh yeah. He's probably already got the outfit.
Yeah.
Oh, like Jared.
Hi Jared, if you're watching.
Oh, Nia Bay here. What's up? Yeah, you guys, tell us where you're tuning in from. Got a couple announcements. We got Jason Hamley in the house. If you already didn't know, we've got fresh caught living salmon eggs less than 8 hours ago.
Fertile.
Very fertile, very fresh.
Very
Salmon eggs are going to be curing live tonight. We've got the egg master himself, Mr. Jason Hamley, in the house. And yeah, so let's tell us where you're tuning in from. Marlon will get a prize pack going here for you guys. And yeah, we've got some announcements to go. First off, tomorrow night, this is where Clint, the producer, puts up the flyer.
Yeah.
Wrong one.
Third time's a charm, Clint. Bravo. Anyways, sorry guys.
Can you zoom that in a little bit more, Clint?
Oh, total fail.
Just enlarge it. You can't really read it.
Ohio,
can.
Kansas City.
But there we go.
There we go.
Yeah, just cut out the pictures a little bit more so people can see what the prizes are and everything.
Third annual Fall Bash tomorrow night at Bob's, 5 to 9 p.m. We are talking all sorts of good stuff. Every one of these bashes for this fall series, you guys, if you enter and you can show up, you get a ticket to win an Old Town Sportsman kayak. Pretty badass fishing platform, if you ask me. And all you got to do is show up, hang out, get some pizza, get some prizes, talk seminar, talk fishing with us, and it should be a good time. Bob's was in there a couple days ago. They're loaded with a lot of good fishing gear, a lot of good Procure stuff. It'll be a good time, good opportunity.
Massive addicted orders with
Yep.
this dad too.
Yep, they've got the goods. They've got the gear that you're going to need for tackling the tributaries. Even though I'm going to be talking 360 fishing, I don't think that ship's going to sail till freaking November this year. Yeah. Good run, lots to talk about. We'll see you guys tomorrow night at Bob's.
Well, this is a really unique situation, guys, and there is going to be two more, one at Fisherman's and then one at Sportco up in Fife, Washington. So from those of you that aren't in the Longview, Vancouver, Portland area and they can't make this one, come to the other ones because this is probably the most information we're probably to date going to be given at a bash in one time. Having all three of us there, it's rare that me, Nick, and Cam get to be there for each of the seminars, and it's going to be a lot to talk about and a lot to learn. So do not miss it.
And another thing real fast with the Bob's event, guys, they have a kind of a limited seating situation. So we do have two other bashes coming up. We've got one coming up at Sportco in Fife on October 12th. This is where my producer puts up the banner. This is where the producer puts up the banner at Sportco, October 12th. So we're going to be doing the same gig up there. And then we've also got one at, I think, Fisherman's Marine. That's right, September 28th. So I almost don't want to say this, but if Bob's is your local store and you guys are in the area, if you want to come to all three, you're more than welcome to. But Bob's limited seating, get there early. Make sure you guys are there. But if you've got some other great options, like I said, Fisherman's Marine, September 29th, and Sportco, October 12th, to check out the same bash, you can be entered to win. Wait, I think it's October 12th. That one's wrong. Yep, that date's wrong. Yep. So October 12th. October 12th on Sportco, and October 28th at Fisherman's. Yes.
There we go.
There we go. But tomorrow night, we'll be there. Should be fun. Yeah. I'll be tired, I'm sure. But, whatever.
I miss paying my paychecks at Bob's.
I know. Well, guess what? You can go back to Bob's.
Yeah, you're going to have to do it.
Yeah. Why'd you stop? I mean, you must have moved away or something, right? Just kidding. Bend, Oregon, Grandview. What's our prize pack, Marlon? What other announcements do we got? What's going on the site right now? No. What's going on the site? Anything crazy? Which fisherman? Sorry, I think it's Delta. Oh, Tiger. Tiger fisherman. Oh, that's right. And you guys, we're going to be talking a lot of Procure products. We are very fond of Procure products. They're a good partner, great sponsor of ours. They have been forever. Probably the best quality bait scents in the Northwest, in the nation, if you will. But tonight, and I don't know how long that lasts.
2 days.
2 days. Everything on Procure's website, 20% off for the addicted users. ADX20 is your code, all caps, and that's on the Procure website, 20% off. And that's on the Procure website, not ours, right?
Yeah, correct.
Procure's website, 20% off, pro-cure.com.
Yep.
And that's everything.
Everything.
Chemicals, scents, egg cures, herring brines, anything that you're going to think about buying for next spring, because we always advocate, get a season ahead. There's nothing wrong with putting. In fact, actually, you just sent me a bunch of cases of the brine and bite.
Did you finally pick
I
those
finally
up?
picked those up from Justin. Yes, so I've got 3 cases of that stuff because this spring, I'll say it, like that helped a lot.
Yeah.
And it worked good. So I wanted to make sure I was covered for spring. I've already got, like I said, 3 cases of Ride a Bite sitting in the garage, ready to go. Good opportunity, you guys. Get 20% off everything on Procure's site. ADX20 is your code. You got 2 days. So there you go. TJ says, thanks, Jason.
You bet.
It all comes out of his paycheck. So make sure that
He
yeah,
does the same
comes right
thing.
out of his bonus.
Yeah.
Make sure that you guys, we'll be good there. And that goes, I think, goes for anywhere. I mean, there's a lot of guys from the Midwest that are watching. You guys have a lot of like specialized scents for the East Coast, Florida, anywhere.
For everywhere.
Oils. What would you suggest buying right now?
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I tried to tee it up.
Right,
That was
yeah,
terrible.
yeah.
Anyways.
Did you expect a different answer?
He said Travis says he likes the fuse egg cure. We're gonna be talking a little bit. Actually, we're talking a lot about that tonight because I'm gonna cure these eggs in those, just to make sure. We're gonna talk about some of the processes and all that good stuff. But hey, I got a prize pack Marlon set from here. We got a short bus flasher. We've got an addicted fishing hat, and we've got some addicted Steelhead blend, the oil. The oil. Awesome prize pack right here. Clint, let's just draw a random winner right now. And maybe, I got a question for later. Let's just draw a random winner for you guys tuning in. There's almost 500 of you guys watching. We got Bamazon from Longview, Washington. Congratulations. Emails orders at addicted.fishing. Tell us that you won the first prize pack for the Procure live feed. And I'm going to set these aside for you. Give us an address. Tell us what you won. We'll send them out to you. Congrats. Woohoo. I'll set these. What do you want them? Okay.
There's no sales or anything on the site, right?
Okay. Yeah.
It drops October 23rd.
Drops October 23rd. Yep. And we've got some pretty cool stuff.
There's badass stuff in there.
Going for the drop this time.
There's some really cool shit.
Yes, sir. Really cool
lures
stuff.
And
yes.
There's some lures and there's lots of unique stuff that we're working on.
Looking good. Looking
Backpacks,
good.
too.
Backpacks.
We'll have the roll
Remember,
top before you leave.
roll top backpacks, October 23rd. We'll see. I wouldn't hold your breath.
I already saw them.
You already saw them? Are they actually in our warehouse right now?
No, they're in Mustad. I saw the container. I saw a picture.
They're not here yet. Just kidding. I'm just kidding you crap.
Negative Nancy.
June. Just kidding.
I'm the one that gets yelled at.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Like the new video, Marlon. Way to handle the situation. Good job. Did you guys check out the new video? Addicted Fishing? The Karen video? Sturgeon fishing?
The Karen video.
You don't want to comment on it, huh?
It was a good day.
It was a good day.
That was a good day.
The whole best part about that video and that guy is that dude anchored there and sat there for probably 2 hours, and we never even saw him set the hook. And we sat there the whole time just smashing. I mean, we cooked and caught so many, and he never even freaking got the fish.
Karma.
That's what made it the best.
Karma.
It's the fish gods looking out.
Fish God said, you know what? Yeah.
Don't anchor there. That's what the fish
Don't
god
over
said.
We got a super chat. Why can you leave some curing eggs out of the fridge for days and others need to be kept in the fridge always? Let's start with that question, Jason.
I don't recommend leaving. They'll get warm and soft, and they just turn to mush.
Yeah.
You can do it in the curing process for 4 or 5 days. That's fine. But once they're cured, I would.
And that maybe is what he's saying. Maybe that's what he's implementing on that. And a lot of it is going to be solidity, correct? Like how much salt or like how many sulfites and stuff are in that.
Yeah,
that's going to dry it out and
cures,
not.
Some cures are.
Right.
Yeah,
It's not going to make the mold grow so quick.
Correct.
Yes.
Some cures are a little more sugar, less sulfites, and the real sugary cures, if you leave them out too long, they can start to grow mold. But I mean, there's chemicals you can add, the nitrites and stuff that will help eliminate that. But even at that, you're still once you cure eggs, you want to kind of refrigerate them. We have some that we sell that are vacuum packed eggs, but they're pretty much about 80% salt.
Yeah.
But those hold up fine. But generally speaking, for good eggs that you bring from the river and cure up, you want to refrigerate.
Yeah, and thank you so much for the super
What?
chat.
This
You know,
guy
and
will
that-
leave eggs in his boat for like 2
That was
weeks.
one time. That's during winter
You probably
steelhead.
caught fish on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's winter steelhead because I don't usually
Steelhead
use
or
this many
stupid
eggs.
everything.
Yeah.
But that is a good reminder, guys. So a lot of
dry box
questions.
was
We
gross.
appreciate the super
For
chat,
sure.
Amocat. But yeah, any kind of super chats, questions you guys have, let's fire at them. We're gonna start kind of the basic. I don't know where should we start, Jason? What do you think?
Well, you can start wherever you want. I can go straight into curing, or I can kind of give the rundown on cures, or
Well, I got this.
what to use in them.
I think that would be a good thing to start with, is just give a quick rundown of your.
Like,
of
what the
Yeah.
hell does each one
Right.
of these mean?
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Why you
so
have,
why-
7,
yes,
8 different
Why
cures.
is there 8 cures? Good question. There you go.
There's cures for every occasion. The fuse.
There's no idea.
There's
Well,
what?
we can grab one.
Why don't you go grab one? Actually, go grab one because I need these cured actually for other things.
So the fuse is a very heavy sulfited cure. this one has proven to do quite well everywhere we fished, and it's been very effective. The one thing that I have noticed that people do a lot, and I've even started doing it myself, is if you want to brighten them up a little bit, is even add a teaspoon of the red badass bait dye.
Right there.
Which is right here.
The thing about those, like some people like a toned down egg too.
Right.
And like the thing about it is like with a lot of these times, you'll hear Jason talk about this tonight too, and I don't want to take his thunder, but whenever you have the idea of like adding something to it, like if you start here and you want to get it there, whether it's with scent, with chemical, with color, you can always add to it, but it's really hard to take stuff away.
Correct.
So if you've got a good base, and then when you add, if you add the color later, if you want to brighten them up, you can. If you don't want to brighten them up, it's really hard to take it off.
Right.
So.
And then another thing too is if you even want to heat them up a little more, is just adding just a few tablespoons of sodium metabisulfite, and that'll even heat them up more. Even in most cases, you don't really need it, but it doesn't hurt. It's,
Hang on one second, because here.
Yeah.
Or no, where's the pack? Where you?
Turn on Jason's microphone. Jason's microphone's not working.
My big old belly probably hit.
Got muted.
You got it? You got it?
Now.
So he's saying that you can add a couple, when you say add a couple tablespoons
Yeah.
of metabisulfite just to really heat something up.
Right.
Are you talking to the container itself?
To the
or
whole container.
to the whole container?
Yeah,
So
if you added a couple tablespoons to just a couple skeins of eggs, it'd probably just
it just melt them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when you're talking tablespoons, just putting it in here.
Yeah,
And then
and just
using
shaking it up.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. Well, this is already a pretty hot cure as it is.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So once again, if you base it, you want to sprinkle some metabisulfite later on it. You can heat it up, adding more chemical to it.
And you can even get a jar of metabisulfite and take it with you, and just add it as you go if you want. I mean that.
It's
It
a lot
doesn't
safer
hurt.
option.
Right.
More
yeah.
you can be more experimental, whether you just put it all in your eggs.
Right.
Throw it out
Because a
there,
lot
they
of
don't
times
want it.
people buy it and then they go overboard with it, and then you pretty much cooked your whole batch. And that's the scary thing is if somebody uses too much of it, it could screw with you a little bit.
Gotcha. So some really good questions here. Clint to the rescue. Where do you buy sodium nitrite? Couldn't find it anywhere. You guys sell it.
Yeah, Procure.
Procure's website right now. ADX20, 20% off. There's the bottle. Boom. There you go. So you got the fuse cure. So hotter cure. Honestly, I like the salmon blend for a lot of like my Chinook action, especially up in the rivers a little bit away from the coast.
Yeah. And
Would you
two,
agree? Gorge. I'll just say it. Screw it. Whatever.
what's funny though is in the wintertime I do a lot of bobber dogging for steelhead, and people are chiming all the time. You don't want too many sodium sulfites for steelhead and blah blah blah. And I have both ways. I have cure in all different directions, and that was probably our best cure last year.
In the salmon blend or in the steelhead?
The salmon blend.
The salmon blend
Was probably our best cure last winter for steelhead.
See, I've always, and I mean, for years, even before years and years, like 20, years ago,
Yeah.
it's still like red hot,
Yeah.
using the red hot double stuff. Let's talk about that next. But that was all we cured steelhead eggs.
Right.
with.
Yep.
Caught a couple steelhead.
Yeah.
So let's
What
talk.
makes it hotter in the salmon blend?
The salmon is the amount of sodium sulfite in it. There's a lot of sodium sulfite in the.
Yeah, but
salmon
he's
blend.
asking what is in Slamola and does it make it hotter?
The Slamola has
So-
bite stimulants, and it's got some metabisulfite in it as well.
So this is that's
That's sodium sulfite. The metas we just
No,
saw
where's the
those, right?
Slamola?
Oh,
Slamola. So
Right.
Slamola powder comes in a little bottle like this, guys.
yeah.
And what he's saying is that it's a blend, so it's not just one.
It's
base.
got metabisulfite. It's got some monster bite in it. It bite stimulants, and it's got some firming salt. A lot of people, what that's designed for is for if you're doing sardine fillets and you want to wrap quick fish or whatever, is guys will sprinkle that on because it'll help firm up your bait, but it also adds those bite stimulants.
Gotcha. So the question was Slamola. So does it make it hotter? The
Well, see,
answer,
that's-
I'd say yes, because it's adding
Metabisulfite.
metabisulfite, which is known to be a very harsh, hot
Yeah.
salt. I
Don't
mean, as
shake
far
the
as-
jar up and then open it. Tell you that
Yeah,
much.
don't take a
Woo!
big, don't take a big. Yeah. What about potassium nitrate?
I don't have a lot of knowledge on that. I don't.
Yeah, there's a lot of like chemicals.
See, what I love, but I will say, and I'm not going to call him a simple man on his egg cure stuff, but as long as I've known Jason, contrary to like some of the other people that we know very well from like the South Coast, they sit in the boat and they talk about the 157 different ways to cure eggs and the different thing, and then they'll go to the vitamin store and get all, and then I'm like, and
George
Jason's
B.
like, a lot of the time is just
George
like,
B.
just put a little cure on them and some of this, you know. And I'm like, well, hell yeah, I love that. And he catches just, you know, and so it's just
there's two different.
I think it's fun,
I think there's
but-
two different environments for that though.
Yeah.
One is like you're in a target rich environment, a lot of fresh fish that aren't pressured.
Right.
Gotcha.
They're gonna eat eggs.
Yeah.
Now you go to some of these other spots
Or the guys that
or
I'm
our
talking
local river,
about.
and you have 25 boats in the hole, and you watch those two boats catch fish after fish after fish after fish, while the other 23 boats sit and watch.
Right.
You got a different environment there, and that's where the egg cures make the difference.
Oh yeah.
And so I think you got to kind of be prepared for both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
And
Totally.
even you can tweak it as much. I mean, scent, you can do it with chemicals. You can do it with just adding egg cure
Yeah.
while you're doing it. There's a million things you can do to kind of dink with stuff.
Yeah, it's like what I do commonly. Like my routine is not the simplest, but it's also not easy. It's not
Right.
just throwing a couple things on. I have my system and I stick to it. And unless I need to change one thing or the other, which hopefully it doesn't have to as much unless you're really traveling up and down a river system, like Cam's doing, where I'm sure is your egg cure that you're most fond of normally working pretty good where you've been, or have you had to
yeah,
change a lot?
I'm using a base,
Okay.
and then I'm just curing like my batch of eggs for right now for Chinook, and then I'm using a base and then adding as I go where I
Gotcha.
go,
Yep.
just if I need to.
Yeah.
But not thinking ahead and thinking I'm like I better like heat these eggs up super hot, and then like like I say I can't take it away. So just kind of starting with a good base.
Yeah.
Where it's
is
fun
key.
to toy with stuff too and see if what kind of stuff makes a big difference or even distracts from your bites is when you get in areas where a certain spot in the boat has been way more productive that particular day and you're having a good day of catching, is doing those changes on that seat where that's having the good success. Then you can kind of see what is or isn't working.
Gotcha.
So it's good to toy around with that stuff.
Mhm.
Figure it out.
Well, we've been out there a million times where, having, and I've got this one story. I don't know if I even want to tell it right now, but like where that one little thing has made all the difference. You got fish
yeah.
under the boat, they're rolling around. Keep playing, find something that works, and the next thing you know, every rod's loading up with fish.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be that crazy out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Question though was there was George B. We lost it for a second. He's like, "Is there what he wanted to?" You're going to hear us talk about a lot. He goes, "I hear you can burn your eggs when you're curing them. Is that true? And how do you avoid that?" Because
Well,
I
there's
think
a
that's
couple
we're going to
different
talk
ways
a
you
lot
can.
about that throughout this live feed.
Yeah. There's a couple different ways you can do it. If you use their particular cures, like for instance, it's not necessarily burning them, but it almost is the Last Supper. If you take those and you cure your baits with them, and you leave it in the fridge for an extended period of time, that cure, your baits are going to turn to mush and they just fall apart. It's a really wet cure, and the curing process continues, and it just turns those eggs to mush. There's other ones like the Fuse or like the Procure cure that you want to really be careful about your dry time and the amount of time you leave it out once you cure them, because those can just turn rock hard if you leave them out too long. So there's a fine line. It's not just the cure or the amount of cure, it's also the process.
So a question from the audience real quick, because we will explain hot in just a second, Daniel. Question from the audience. So a guy cures a jar of eggs, goes out fishing, uses it, and then puts it in his fridge, and then they continually juice for like 4 or 5 days. Is that because, and then eventually turn to mush, whatever cure it is? Because like you said, that curing process doesn't stop.
Right.
Is that because maybe after the curing process, they needed to dry them and strain them out first and try to get some of that cure off the eggs and then store them for a longer term in the fridge? Or is that just impossible to avoid?
It depends on how the guy wants the eggs, because some guys like to get the cure in them, mix them up while they're still wet, throw them in the jar, and then put them away. And you're going to get a wetter, heavier milking egg out of that, but you're not going to have one that's going to last as long. And they'll still, even letting them sit a little longer and absorb those juices, and even the longer you let them sit, the scent changes. And sometimes it's a beneficial thing and sometimes it's not. But if you let those sit and get that perfect amount of dryness where once you do freeze them and take them back out, and then they kind of wetten back up a little bit because they start that again, that'll sometimes makes the perfect egg. So I even, like when I'm drying mine, I even do them on the drier side. And then let them wet back out.
Drier side, freeze, and then when you use, and then so like if you,
And then when
because
they
then if
come
you
out,
take
they're
them out, if you
perfect.
leave them for 4 or 5 days,
Yeah.
you don't care if they're juicing up at all.
Right.
At
I
that
just
process.
don't, with any eggs, if they sit in my fridge for a month or 2 months,
They're gone.
They're gone. I throw them away. But I know guys that they cure their eggs, stick them in the fridge, and leave them in there for 6 months.
Yeah, they're right.
And not that you can't. It's just I don't like it that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
The scent is still there. There's some scent.
There- oh, yeah,
I
but
guess it's how the
different.
durability.
It's different.
It's
though.
different.
You can smell that. Like if you open a jar, you put them out, they thaw out. You open that jar that's been in your fridge for 4 months or 2 months or whatever. You open them up and they got a gamier smell. They don't smell the same.
Like I was gonna say, sour.
Yeah.
Like they have like a musky smell at first, and you open that up, and it is like you can't even explain it. And you're an egg pro, but it's got like this certain like fresh fishy smell.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the point where it smells like Grandpa's tackle box,
Yeah.
and then it goes like what you smell when you open the bait fridge, the bait shop.
Yeah.
You know,
And
and
if I'm
it
going, if I'm
yeah,
if
it
I'm
just
going,
progresses.
If I'm taking a day of my life and going out and
just
fishing, I want everything in my favor.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to waste it and
Totally.
using bunk bait.
So a couple questions then here. Then how long do cured eggs last in a jar, and how long can you last them in the freezer? Some basic stuff.
In the freezer, depends on how you seal them, but in a glass jar and with the air drawn out of them, gosh, years.
Years.
Even if they get a little freezer burn on top, you can still work around that. And even freezer burn eggs, I've caught plenty of fish on. In a fridge, it depends on the cure and how long. I mean, with like the fuse, you're looking at about, I don't know. I'd prefer to use them within a couple months.
Yeah, I was gonna say 3 months, and I'll
Yeah.
start to see mold.
Yeah.
Usually, or just that deterioration.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yep.
The eggs start to fall apart, or they start to get,
Yep. The Procure
sort
Red
of
Hot,
biology
that'll
going
go
on.
a little longer if you don't open it. If you open it and then stick them back in there, it breaks down the process quicker. You're going to see mold faster.
Now jar or Ziploc
Oh, jar definitely.
Mhm.
Because Ziploc, the problem is
for the first curing process. Even for the
when I'm curing, I
Yeah,
just do
yeah,
a Ziploc.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
In a jar, the jar helps protect the membrane and helps keep those eggs full, and they look better.
Mhm.
And when you put them in bags, they stick them in your freezer. Things always have a way of shifting around and moving around, and people digging in it, and it just smashes everything.
Yep.
This comment is nonstop tonight.
The Stay Fishy episode is late, you guys. I apologize. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, it is another 4:30. It is a really cool video though. So please, if you have anybody else,
You let them know it ain't my fault this time.
nope, it's not anybody's fault but mine and Sean's, mostly mine. But we did not get the episode done until this afternoon, and so Sean was finishing it up, guys, and it did not get a chance to get aired tonight. So tomorrow at 4:30, be sure to let other people know. But I think you guys are really gonna like it. It's pretty silly, and actually it turned out pretty cool. So be on the lookout for
I
it.
see a question. They're asking about
Mhm.
Slamola, monster bite, tuna, or eggs. How much to add?
Yeah.
The Slamola, you can get away with a little more of that. Monster bite, don't overdo it. It's hard to equate that to. I don't know what you're doing, but if you have a full set of eggs, a pair of eggs, skeins, I'd probably say maybe a half of a teaspoon. Very much, very little.
With the monster bite.
Yeah. And that's another one that I would just add as I go. Just not dedicate the whole-
don't add to it. So just a little teeny bit. And like Steve would say, sprinkling, like a light amount like that, like you'd like your salt your food almost, like or salt the steak or something like that.
A lot of people overuse cure. You don't need to overuse it, or even
with the
chemicals.
monster
You're saying
bite.
not
Even
cure with it,
chemicals.
You're saying like
No, it's just
say it morning of.
And so real fast, since we talked about the monster bite real quick, this bite enhancer is in all your guys' products.
Yes.
So
This is
everything.
just a little extra.
Yeah, this is like a little extra. But this product here, this monster bite, is in every oil, every cure, every scent.
We
you
feel
guys
that
make.
confident about it.
You're that confident, and it doesn't matter the species either. What
No.
Steve was telling me,
Yeah. No,
like your bass scents and your trout scents and your salmon scents, no scents.
Nope.
Yeah.
Your nonsense.
Yeah.
Your tuna for stuffing your bait.
Yep. Fishnet.
Fishnet. Tuna. Adding this to it. Is that what you're saying? Does that work? Do you have
I'm not
do you
the
have-
best person to ask.
do you
but I
have
put
real
it in
live
mine.
experience about this?
Yeah.
Clint?
I
When
put
you were
it in
trolling in
mine.
your boat like this season, you were putting the monster bite in the
Ooh,
tuna.
this season?
Yeah.
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 Not
Okay.
in my boat, in my buddy's boat. I don't have a,
Oh,
are you
okay.
just gonna make me cry because I don't have a boat?
Oh no.
Oh, he's gonna cry again.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. We'll talk about standard size. We'll do some egg stuff. So we talked a little bit about fuse, and then we, of course, the second we bring up hot and we bring up chemicals and we bring up additives, people. So red hot double stuff. Let's talk about that cure. I think we got some Wizard, and we've got the red hot double stuff. So talk a little bit about these two. The original, the OG.
Yep. The red hot double stuff it's a very good all around cure. It's fairly hot. It's got sodium sulfite, metabisulfite. It's got everything in it. Just a lower amount of metabisulfite as the Wizard's really heated up with it. But the red hot double stuff it's a good all around salmon steelhead cure for inland and upriver. It's just a good versatile cure, and Phil designed this in '84, and it's been our #1 seller ever since.
So you're talking about not being as hot as like the Wizard, because the Wizard isn't, and if I remember right, Wizard is the same formula, but it's heated up with the metabisulfite.
It's got a lot of that in it.
Yeah. So
it's not quite the same formula, but it's similar. It's got a lot of cures out there have similar properties, but there's
additives there.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But if you were going to tell an angler, and if you didn't really know like where you wanted to start, you'd probably start with that first.
Just until they get the hang of curing and doing it, because you can really overdo it with the Wizard. You can mess it up.
So Wizard's hot.
Yeah.
Red hot is perfect.
Yeah.
Just tepid.
Right.
It's tepid.
Yeah.
It's just right. Okay.
Yeah. And then you go to
Maybe
the
very
Last
forged.
Supper. It's more of a wetter cure. It takes more of the cure to cure your eggs, and it's a slower curing process, but it's a very good cure. It's a heavy milking, great for bobber fishing.
And real fast, because you said it takes more. You guys, whatever cure you guys end up with, wherever you decide to go, always look back and see exactly like what. I think you have it on your.
That one will do about 7 pounds.
Right, 7 pounds, and
versus,
then
like this will do 20 pounds.
Like 20 pounds, and then this guy
Those
and
are
the
10.
fuse are 10. So understand that like if I'm doing 7 pounds with this or 20 pounds with this, it's gonna just take a whole lot less of this red hot double stuff to get the desired cure.
Yep.
Compared to using this. So always pay attention to that when we're talking about the different cures or whatever cure you're going to end up settling on to do your eggs. And then we got addicted blend, right? So addicted blend, a little hotter, a little more color to it, a little more punch, if you will. Probably not the definitely hotter than like your red hot and your standard Procure. Probably like right in line with the fuse.
Basically the shit.
I didn't say it. Basically the shit.
Sorry, had to.
A little heavier color. But for the guys that are like looking to do,
that's what you're running up in the gorge this year, isn't it?
That's what. Yeah, man.
You've been doing a
couple days. Yeah, no, it's been producing, but like I said, that's kind of what it was, designed and made for. A little hotter, really good inland Chinook. Kind of good all around Chinook, but like I said, once again, using it as a base, adding other stuff to it as we get later in the season, as temperatures warm or cool, you can kind of play with that as well. But definitely a good cure. We're gonna be using that tonight.
Yeah.
As well. We'll be doing some other stuff.
Sounds good to me.
Yes, sir. What about? Do you want to run through? You got borax, let's talk a little bit about borax. I saw a couple questions about curing borax. And like what you would recommend or
that's a call we actually get a lot at the factory. Is people will call in and ask what the process is to cure with this. This is it's not really the best thing to just straight cure your eggs with. If you want to use this product, the best thing to do is add equal parts. Add this, salt, and sugar in equal parts. So and you can do that from home. Is just add a cup of each, and run that for your egg cure. If you want to use this too, there's another option. Is once you do cure your eggs, whether you use liquid cure or your homemade cure or any one of the cures, you can pack your eggs in this, and that'll help dry them out even more and firm them up. Because a lot of times with Steelhead, guys are looking more at durability than.
This is more of a processing, and then rather than a cure.
Correct.
Yeah.
You can make cure with it. It's an additive in cure, but it's more for just getting your baits ready. And
drying it out.
Yeah.
So you cast it, make a more rubbery egg.
Yep.
So like after you cure, take them out, cut them into maybe the individual pieces,
Right.
put some in the jar or in the bag, a little borax,
Yep.
layer them, borax, dry them out.
And then the colors, this is all, it's pigments in it, so it's going to help also kind of brighten your eggs with different colors if you want to kind of add a little bit of variation to your baits. So
Is that the guys that do the 3-2-1
yeah.
blend with it as well?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then what about buying a bunch of sand shrimp early and freezing it and then packing it?
We did that a lot this year because sand shrimp were hit and miss on getting them. Is we were taking them and we were packing them in borax. So what we would do is take them when they're still crawling, because we knew we bought 40 dozen before the season started, and we used what we could in the first few days of what we knew we were going to need, and then we knew the other ones weren't going to make it, so we took those and we packed them in borax and then stuck them in the freezer, and they fished just as good.
Awesome.
So it saves you some money, and it works. The smell just it stuck in there. It never smelled rancid or anything.
Good drying, curing, or good, durable. I don't know. I guess it'd be a preservative. I
To
guess.
A point, yeah.
You
And
can
also,
call it
if you layer the top of your jar with it, it kind of helps alleviate some of that freezer burn.
Someone asked, and I'm just going to use this as an example, guys. Someone asked, like, what's a good cure for like up by Priest Rapids? Like we're talking way inland, 200-300 yards. Like, what's kind of the general consensus like on using a hot cure further away from the salt versus?
It's a great idea. The Wizard and the Fuse are both fantastic cures for up there. Yeah.
Versus like going like red hot. So if you're only going to fish up there, then maybe your base should be a Fuse or a Wizard.
It doesn't hurt a bit. Yeah.
Gotcha. Versus if you were sitting down in Tillamook or something, you would go with a little.
Yeah, like the Last Supper or at Fuse. We've done great in the coast.
Yeah, I think it's funny because I gave some eggs and some chemical to like some guys that fish the coast, and this stuff's just the hottest of the hot.
Yeah.
And gave it to them. Oh, they loved it. Oh, it was the best, And it's like, I'm like, you guys realize like that's like the hottest of the hot. Like they were curing all their eggs in it. They were catching fish like crazy. And I'm like, that kind of goes against the whole common knowledge.
Science.
Like
there's no science with it. There's guys.
And okay. I just want everyone to hear that. Like he's just saying, there's no science behind that. And the reason why I said that is because when he told me this like a month later, he's like, oh yeah, you know that jar you gave me? He's like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you realize that's like if you cure your eggs, that's gonna melt like your eggs to like soup. You're gonna be able to sift them through a strainer.
Right.
Like, and he's like, oh man, it was like the best thing ever. And it's like, okay, well that's on coastal like Tidewater, like Chinook.
There's a couple guides that we deal with that are fantastic coastal fishermen, and they buy the hell out of the Wizard. So.
And the Wizard is the hot metabosulfite loaded. So just before we get into like, I think with the egg cures too, just like all fishing, you can never use the words never and always, right?
No.
You got a good starting point. You can work from that, but don't overlook just because you're on the coast doesn't mean like those fish that you're fishing for didn't just show up into the river the day before. Right. They might have been sitting there for 3 weeks. They could be sitting there for a month. You don't really know. So, just having the idea of just, it's got to be a sweeter, cooler egg cure.
Yeah, it doesn't have to.
Sometimes that's not what you really want.
If you can, if you have the option, if you have the resources of having enough eggs, it's a great idea to do a few different cures, because if you can go with multiple choices, it can save your butt some days. So,
what's a good cure for targeting coho? Since we need to talk a little bit, to
be honest with you, with coho, if they're bitey on eggs, I've never seen one that doesn't work.
Eggs.
That's when you bust out the 8-year-old eggs.
I've never noticed one to be way more productive. I've literally had. If you're in an area where coho are willing to bite eggs,
they bite eggs.
They bite eggs.
No. What about scent and stuff like that? Would you say the same category for scent too? If you're adding scent to those eggs,
the only scents I've noticed that have even twitching, I've noticed that a lot of times it can consistently help. It makes a little difference is krill and sand shrimp. Those two. I've noticed on even twitching or whatever you're doing.
Oh, it just so happens you guys make this pure powdered krill.
There you go.
Right there.
Wow.
I've noticed where adding a little bit of that, it doesn't help. It doesn't hurt at all.
Yeah.
So
It definitely smells like fish food.
yeah.
More than any other sense.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, shall we start? Are you
No.
going to do just one? No
No.
question.
Spawn
Okay.
sacks.
No.
Can you
Oh,
store them
untie
in the
some spawnies?
freezer after you cure them?
I don't see why not.
I don't like to do it,
Yeah.
but that's me.
Yeah.
Because I think what happens is you get a little expansion of the egg,
Right.
and then you get, when you freeze,
Loose sack.
and then exactly. It just not that it wouldn't work. It just would not. It would. The sack just ends up looking more deflated. Jordan, everybody's back. Giggle. Yeah. So when I have frozen like steelhead, like
Right.
do a lot of eggs. I do a lot of spawn sack for steelhead, and same thing if I freeze them,
Yeah.
and I go back a week later to frost them out, like they do definitely like expand and contract.
Yeah.
Even with the borax bath, layering them,
Mhm.
just as bad.
I have noticed that, and you'll notice too if you cure with both of them, the red hot double stuff and some of the other cures, your eggs won't freeze rock hard, but with the fuse, your eggs freeze rock hard. So those probably you might get a little more
Expansion and
Expansion,
contraction. Oh boy. Okay, let's see here. All right. Well, let's talk. I guess let's cure some eggs. Like you said, I saw that one last question.
So I'm going to do two different ways. Are you going to do just one way?
We're gonna do all these eggs in one way because I need them.
Well, no, these ones.
Oh, those
I
are
got
how
my
you want it.
stat.
Let's start with those.
Okay. Right. Keep them out of the camera. Should I grab one more? I guess we can leave that.
Where's our side cam?
It's right here in the
Right
middle.
up on the table.
Oh, side cam. Now, let's talk about. Wait, I'm gonna totally cut you off
Okay, go ahead.
because we should talk about like egg, like quality and preparation and like what to do after you catch a fish. Like, there's a lot of guys here that want to know that process. So you caught a salmon, and you perceived that it's a hen, and you didn't only kill the fish for the eggs, but the eggs are a nice bonus.
Right.
What do you do?
Well, first and foremost is, which you should do with males or females, is cut a gill or however you choose to bleed them, is bleed them out. That way you're going to improve the quality of your meat, but you're also going to improve the quality of your eggs. If you can get that blood out of the membrane as much as possible, that'll help.
And what he's saying here, guys, is you can see alongside the membrane or alongside the skein, you don't see a lot of blood veins in here. And these are commercially caught. So these guys, they put enough effort in to get the blood out, but not as much as you can as an angler.
Right.
By sitting there massaging down that lateral line, really shaking that fish and getting that blood to come out as best as possible. And then again, even taking a knife or a butter knife or fork and running it along the veins, of that skein, and you can actually watch that blood get pushed right out, and then tamper it off a little bit.
Bring one of your
with a paper
skins out
towel.
and show them the difference of fresh and frozen eggs.
Maybe not. Jordan, everybody.
Well,
This is kind of one of the reasons whenever you can, try
Oh, here we
to
go.
get the eggs on cure as quick as possible. Because once you
Sure
do
that
freeze them,
bloodline,
it changes the whole characteristics of the eggs.
Yep.
The color, the consistency.
Yeah, these colors here, these eggs were these eggs were probably this color before they were frozen.
Yep.
Right?
Right.
And now these are more of like an orange and more of a pearl.
And they just take the color better.
Yeah. And these ones will take the color better because they're a little more like pale, a little more of a blank slate. But I haven't done anything to these eggs, and I purposely kind of did that. So these fish were caught and swimming just a little bit ago, but you guys can see there's a little bit of that bloodline up this egg right here. And so what we're talking about is the sooner you bleed the fish, the less of this blood you're going to get in there. But this is quite a bit of blood. You may want to try to take a moment and try to remove that from some of the eggs. Now, if you're in a super hurry, I've cured many million eggs with that blood in there.
It isn't a deal breaker. It's just one of those things. Every little thing can sometimes make a difference.
Right. If we want to have a good egg, you're putting all that time driving to the river, doing all that stuff. So cleaning out that bloodline can be very beneficial. A lot of times, all it takes is just massaging that blood kind of up to the bloodline itself, and then taking like a pair of scissors or something, cutting like one end of this. And then you can literally massage with the backside of a spoon. I'm trying to do it with my finger here, and you can almost massage the blood. As you can see it kind of coming out there. I guess use the scissors. You can kind of like massage that blood, and you can see it kind of growing there. I don't know if you guys can see that in the camera. See it coming out there. And you can get that out of the egg itself. See, I'm working that up.
Work it.
It's definitely not a deal breaker, but it doesn't hurt. That's for
And then
sure.
once you get that blood out,
Now,
take a
blood is
paper
the first thing
towel.
to spoil usually
Yeah.
in any animal or well, anything in particular. Blood tends to spoil the fastest. So if you do plan on storing your eggs, it might be better to, or freezing them, it might be better to get rid of that blood more than if you're going to be using every single piece of these tomorrow, like Cameron's going to.
yeah, see, I've already removed like quite a bit of the blood in there. I mean, I probably need to do a cut on this end and work this end out. But you can see that it worked a lot of that out of there already.
Okay. Second little process, which we'll do with both of these, whether they're old or fresh, is some people will take a knife or a scissors and cut down the skein to try to open that thing up, especially on usually one side or the other of the skeins are a little bit different shape. And so you want to make sure to open them up. Sometimes if they're small like this, they can be really tight. And if you do not get that skin and that membrane separated, you're not going to get a really good cure in between all that cluster of eggs inside. So I like to just kind of turn it inside out personally. And you kind of rip that membrane just a little bit, but you don't cut any of the berries. And on a fresher skein, it's actually much easier to be doing the same process. So
Do it right here.
So this I just lay across both hands, just like so, and just gently start breaking them apart. Because if not, you end up cutting open the berries, and I feel like it adds a lot of juice to the curing process.
Do you cut yours in thirds, or do you just cure them whole?
I usually do them whole. I know Cameron likes to cut them down into chunks.
I come down.
I personally cut them in thirds too, and I do that not only because it's just easier to get them out of the jar and deal with them, but also I think it absorbs the cure better personally.
Yeah.
It's just
No matter
more exposed ends.
no matter what size of skein.
Yeah.
Usually.
Okay. Well, if they're, obviously tiny eggs, I'll just
Right.
split them in half. But even these, I'd cut those probably in half.
Okay. Well, then we'll do that. Okay. Wow, the smell's coming out of this Life Feed studio tonight, everybody.
Too bad you guys don't have smell-o-vision.
Yeah, I say it all the time. Okay.
Don't rinse them. Marlon will lecture.
Were you guys talking about rinsing fish?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it turned into a.
I hear it already.
Everything
I
went
can
south.
hear it. Yeah. Okay. Well, did you bring a bowl, or you want to go right to Ziploc?
I got a bag. I got a bowl, a strainer, and bags.
Okay. Then I'll just keep my hands getting dirty then. Tell me where you want it. Right there's good.
Oh sure, whatever. Yeah.
Okay, and we're taking them. This big skein, we're going to go into thirds. Do you want them like this or down the middle?
Oh, I don't care. Just.
That's more like quarters.
Well, this was a really big fish.
Yeah.
It was a really nice one. I've got smaller skeins too, and normal skeins. I got all sorts of skeins from today. The idea, guys, is opening this up and curing them is because if you don't allow that cure to permeate all throughout that eggs, if the eggs are too thick, what happens is you'll get raw spots in your eggs. And so then when you go out to take that bait when you go out to fish it, what ends up happening is you basically had spots inside your baits that rotted. Whether you left them in the fridge or during the curing process, if the salts and the cures don't get to the egg, it's going to rot.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to get like this gooey gel in the middle that is not going to fish well.
Okay, you want to do those other ones? So I'll just season mine right here and throw them in a bag.
Or you can just do it in a bag, whatever you want to do.
Okay, I'll just do them in a bag.
Yeah, we'll go through the whole process on these ones here too. Just
Yeah,
because
what
cure are we going to do with these?
I'm going to do my little blend. I do either the Addicted blend or just the Fuse Cure, and I use a little bit of the Wizard or the Red Hot Double Stuff for color. and then add a tiny bit of metabisulfite at the beginning, and then I'll do a different process right before I fish them. So, but that's what I'm going to do in the bag here. So I kind of use a blend of all of them. I use like a hot cure. I use the really strong colored cure of the Red Hot Double stuff to get that nice like rosy red color that we get from it, and then add a little bit of that heat, just a little bit extra like you can add. So.
Right.
Yeah. More egg.
This is kind of nice tonight. I don't have to get my hands dirty.
Get some gloves there, Jason. That's not thirds. We get it, guys. It was the idea is that you don't want to have like
peanut gallery.
Exactly. You don't want to have like really. I mean, I don't know. I guess you probably wouldn't want to have more than like baseball.
You got a wide mouth quart jar. Just if you get too much in there, it's when you got the whole skein. It's hard to get it out. With these, you can just reach in and pull out a chunk.
Yeah.
And then cut it into smaller baits. It's just easier to deal with.
That's not thirds. Can you hold that for me again?
Yep. Good to go.
Yeah.
I got 2 more bags here for you.
I'll do that. I'll just season these ones first. So I'll go with the open one. Because they're probably both close. Oh, that's one.
There you go.
Okay, so like we said before, you don't want to go super crazy. I'm just going to use the big scooper part. I'm going to go a little salt and pepper right on the top. Nothing crazy.
You didn't see that or not? Get the idea?
Yep, you guys get the idea here. I'm going to go, again, just a smidge. Now, this stuff goes a long way, so I'm going to go just a smidge of the Red Hot to start. That's looking pretty good. But in the name of science, I'm going to go just a very small amount more of each. These things already have a really nice red color to them, so I don't need to add too much of the dye or anything, I feel like. And I'm going to try to use these ones tomorrow, so I'm going a little bit heavier. And there we have it. You can see that transformation already.
Yeah, don't look bad.
Okay.
And that was a very, very light dusting. Do you want the metabisulfite?
Yes.
There you go.
And then this is going to be the even lighter dusting that you're going to see here. This is because I want a hot egg. Both cures that I already used are hot, but this I'm going to go just a very small amount to get that hardening process, basically that drying out process started. And then before I fish these, I might add just a small amount more of that. Okay. Lot number 1.
I think you should each cure some. I think Jason should do.
Jason?
Jason should do some. Yeah.
I can do that.
Salmon eggs.
Okay. Bag number 1.
Whatever your go-tos would be.
Well, I'm not going to do anything fancy because I'm just going to do
But that's what you normally do, though, right? I mean, that's your go-to. You don't do anything fancy. You tweak them after, right?
Yes.
Don't put me on there.
Hi, Clint, everybody. Here's Clint. Say hi, Clint.
Okay.
Do you ever use raspberry Jello in your cures, Jason?
Generally, no. The only I mean, I dinked with it a while back, but I don't use it.
What other questions do we have on here? You guys put a lot on unnecessarily. They just say you buy more. Actually, I don't know. I think you did. I think you went pretty light on that.
The 3-2-1 cure does work. Yes.
Does 3-2-1 work? Absolutely. And you guys sell all the products to make 3-2-1.
Well, except salt and sugar.
Well, except salt and sugar.
Good.
Good call. What about water in the brine? Do you sell water? Let's see here. Those look already cured. Those actually like really like good.
Yeah,
Real
very
black
cherry.
cherry cures,
Yeah.
nice and red.
Don't even need to cure them.
Why are you even curing
Let
them?
them dry
Fishing,
enough,
yeah.
they'll be all right.
Now these are these Chinook eggs or
Coho.
Poor Cohos.
Never even had a chance.
What do you use on the upper Columbia Chelan Falls? And Nate, we kind of talked about that a little bit earlier, just with the, the distance, from the ocean. Hotter cures.
The Wizard, the Fuse.
The Wizard, the Fuse is probably good bases to start with, and then expanding from there. Bobber down. Yeah, so let's talk about, while you're doing that, let's talk about the process on those eggs. So those are going to cure for how long? How long are you going to let those run, Jordan?
Well, one of the bags about 12 hours.
Just because you're going to fish them tomorrow.
Just because I'm going to fish tomorrow, and I'm going to need them. I have some already cured eggs, but I'm a little behind on my egg take this year. So I'm going to use probably some of those by noon tomorrow. So good 16, 18 hours of cure, and they won't be perfect, but they'll be fishable, and especially because I'll have some other stuff to put with them. But normally at least 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
48 hours, you can probably get a pretty good fishable egg. But anything less than that, anything up to like 12 to 24 hours, you're going to get a fairly undercured egg. But if fishing is really good and you know the fish are there and you can get to them, you're going to be okay. But if you're somebody who's going to fish on Sunday and then not going to have a chance to fish again until next weekend or something like that, make sure to get a good, 36, 48 hour cure on your eggs. Then get them in a jar in like a secured place somewhere safe, back in the fridge or in the freezer, and like get them ready to go for the next time you're fishing. So
ideally, if I'm curing with the Fuse cure, personally, I try to do it in a cool area if I can, where it's not too hot, where they're going to cure too fast. And I like it a minimum of a 3-day process, because you'll notice every day when they're in the cure, if you're got them in your garage, you're going to notice every day they're going to smell a little differently. And it seems like after 3 days is when they get that perfect smell to them that seems to be the best producing cure. So if you can, just try to if you're doing the Fuse, keep them cool enough where you can at least let them cure for 3 days.
Minimum amount of time curing an egg.
With what?
I mean, could you throw some eggs?
Honestly, the fastest egg cures to get it done quick and have a good egg is probably the red hot double stuff.
Okay.
And
I would agree.
A minimum of 6 hours.
You could let them sit in the cure less. It just let them juice up to where they're basically floating in the liquid. Take them out, let them air dry, and
you're fishing them.
You're fishing them.
Okay. And yeah, so hotter cure further away from the salt, like we talked about earlier. Don't necessarily ignore hotter cures when you're close to the coast either.
Right.
We kind of touched on
that. Go for it.
I'm a little bit later on.
All right. So basically, I'm pretty similar to
gloves
to him. I don't care.
This is a bait guy right here. He just dumps his hand right in there. He's getting it going.
I think Jordan already cut him up, but if I got a full skein, I personally cut them in thirds. So if you got a full skein, I would do that right there. This year especially, that small baits have been working really good. I'll take those, and that right there will make several baits, because I'm cutting them in pieces like this. That'll make 8 baits. You go through them fairly fast, but just cut them in that size pieces. That way you can get in the jar, get them done easy. So you got that. That's probably good.
Can we use eggs from any stage? You can, but generally, like, the bigger the eggs are, the bigger the berries are, the less of a membrane they have holding them together. So, like, catching, I'm just going to say it, really big, dark hens that are about to lay their eggs generally isn't the best for having baits later on, because it's really hard to get in the hold. Now, if you're going to make single eggs at spawn sacks, we'll talk about that. But for like doing a lot of the egg fishing that we do around here with the skein attached, like I said, the closer the fish is to spawning, the less of that membrane that's going to be developed around those eggs, and the harder it is going to be able to keep those eggs together when you're casting them and fishing them.
So generally when I'm adding the cure to the eggs, I'm not doing it in a Ziploc as much unless I'm in an area where I don't happen to have one with me. I use a Tupperware container. And what I do is I spread them out like this. And I'm going to do it on the cardboard here and just be really careful. But I'll spread them out like that to where you can get them kind of exposed. And the fuse,
You guys can get a good sense of what he's doing there.
you can see I sprinkle it on fairly thick.
Because the fuse is one of the ones that takes 7 pounds per jar, not 20 like the Red Hot.
Right. And then I'll roll it around. And you can see that powder just slowly dissipates into it. And then I'll take that and I'll do another
dose.
Another dose.
That's about how I salt my steak.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kidding. That's some heavy. You guys go.
That tells you right there, you really got to kind of mess up to burn your eggs with the fuse. It's pretty forgiving cure. And do you smell the smell of them?
Yeah, I can smell it all the time.
But it's got a stronger
I'm
smell.
smelling them. He
When you
says.
use a little more of it, it's got a stronger
the
smell.
Cardboard's not. The cardboard's just so I don't have to clean up later.
Yeah. So when you got that, now you got a bag there. Whether it be in your Tupperware container or wherever you're going to store it. And then have them in a container where you can take them and roll them around every few hours to where they're going to keep continuously getting the color and what's left of the powder mixed in. But you can see there's not much powder left in it. But that
3 days minimum.
let them sit for 3 days, and you'll see when you cure with it, you're going to be able to tell after each day that it takes on a different smell. But it seems like 3 days is when they really start.
Yeah, I offered him gloves, Steelhead Clinic. He just dove right in. He doesn't give a shit. You can tell this is the bait guy right here.
Yeah.
Savage hands.
They'll wash. That's another nice thing about the fuse cure is it cleans up easy.
It does. It doesn't seem to have
right
it.
up.
It
Doesn't
seems.
stain you
It
as
seems it doesn't have like the heavier dyes like the Red Hot does. The
Right.
Red Hot, you get that on stuff, it's gonna stay there for a little while until
Yeah.
UV breaks down that dye.
So that's how I cure with it.
All right,
Now show your deal there.
trade me.
I'm gonna let him hold the camera.
Yeah, you're not holding the camera, buddy.
Bathroom's downstairs. Shoot, I'll run down there.
I'll clean it up.
All
good
right.
with this.
Got her. We got eggs, boys and
Eggs.
girls. What I like to do, because a lot of times I seem to be processing, a lot of like eggs that we get from clients and whatnot. So I'll take my scissors here and just like Jason does, I do thirds, and I kind of try to open it, especially like these really small. You can see with this really small eggs, the membrane is just about 360 degrees around those eggs, and that cure is not going to permeate that membrane very well. So we're going to open it up again. Open it up like this, and then cut into these kind of like wider strips. And what I like to do is, like I said, just because, and I'm not going to remove the blood because we're just going to make this fast. Go through, open the skein up. Quick cuts. We're going to do a lot of these suckers. That was a good fish too today. And see, these eggs, honestly, like if we're looking for like eggs and you're trying to figure out like the right egg, like this was from a really nice fish today. But you can see like the berries are like what? Not even a centimeter. Oops, where you at? And they still have skein like just about all the way around the egg. This was
They're
a nice,
about a 6 mil.
about a 6 mil, exactly. But this fish was not from like a fish that was like turned or at all. It was a nice upriver bright. Had a long way to go before she spawned. We cut her trip short.
That was
Okay, you know what? We're not talking about thirds anymore. And I'm doing this a lot quicker. It's not so much about thirds. It's having manageable, workable chunks. Another one of those little tiny skeins. Just opening it up real quick. Boom. Good enough. Then what I'll do is we're going to do the old addicted. Now I would add a little more red powder, the red badass powder real quick. But I'm not, that's right here. I just wanted to show people. I'm not opening this stuff in here because it will get, this stuff is very potent. It's very good. It will get everywhere, especially the fluorescent red. But do it outside only, or someplace you don't care about. Not that it will permanently dye whatever you're doing, but it needs UV to break that color down, and then it will. But in some areas, it's a little easier to clean up versus others. So be very careful with it. And a little tiny bit goes a long way. I would sprinkle just a little dusting, about like what I would do like salting a steak on there. Then I'm going to take some of the Addicted Cure. Get rid of the little flavor packets. These are extra flavor packets that we include in the Addicted Cure. So if you open that up and spread that on your eggs, you'll catch a bunch of fish. No, kidding, don't do that.
Your eggs will dry out faster.
My eggs will dry out a lot faster. Now I'm going to do a pretty healthy dose because even though Jason did it that other way, because he had all his eggs flat on the cardboard, I've got this bowl of eggs here. I'll put them in there. I'm going to take my hand and just slowly, like Jason did, just kind of massage that bait in there. But I'm not going to be done. And as you can see, like those eggs like hardly changed color at all. Like you got to let them kind of sit a little bit. And so one thing I'd suggest if you do it this way, if you add a little cure, mix them up, let them sit for a minute, come back, watch them, and then maybe add some more then and add some more then. Fortunately, with the Fuse and the Addicted Cures, you can't really burn them or hurt them too much by adding too much. But you don't want to do that just because, well, you're wasting your egg cure. Do another batch.
The camera's freaking out.
Oh, with other colors?
It's like a rave.
Blue gloves, red, pink eggs, bright lights.
This is the Twilight Zone.
So my eggs right there, that looks pretty good. What do you think, Jason? Am I there? Add a little more?
I'd add a little more. Yeah.
Need a little, okay. All right, he's going to make me add a little more. We're going to go a little more. But then here's the process for me. I'm going to add to the bag. Sometimes I'll do jars, but since this is a large amount, more than a quart, we're going to add this to a bag, and I'm going to let them dry. I'm going to let them go for 2 days. You can go back to main camp. I think we got the point.
And a quart's a couple ounces, so
yeah,
or a couple of pounds. Sorry.
Right. And so what I'm going to do, guys, is this is going to go into a bag. It's going to cure for 2 days. You're going to let these eggs juice out, and then there's going to be a part where you're going to look at that bag, and there's going to be a part where like there's a lot of juice, and then there's going to be like this reabsorption to the egg. And then at that point, when it reabsorbs those eggs, I take them out of the bag, I add them to my mason jars, and then I freeze them. At that point, that's when I freeze mine. Then, when I take them out to go fishing, like in the following day, I'll take them out, defrost them, put them in a strainer, dry them to the tackiness that I desired, whether I'm hover fishing or casting or doing whatever. Pack them in borax, do all these other processes to them, and what that's going to do, just going to allow me to fish like a different egg. I'm not going to do them all the same exact way. So these are going to go, like I said, into a bag. They're going to sit 2 days. I'm going to let them juice, going to let them reabsorb, and then I'm going to store them and freeze them then, or I'm going to use them. And when I say 2 days, it could be 2 or 3 days. 2 days in the fridge or the counter. 2 days in a cooled garage. Probably not right now since it's like 85 out. Definitely want to stay away from the warmth, but if it's 60 degrees and kind of less,
that's perfect.
Perfect. Let them out. Actually, Jason told me a long time ago that the curing process works a little faster and a little more efficiently if you keep the temperatures up. So if my garage, if I'm doing it overnight, and I believe it, because like once you told me that a couple of years ago, especially with the Fuse,
yeah,
like I believe it, because like the eggs that I'll do just kind of in an open air environment, just sitting in one of these bowls in my garage when it's cool. Like if my garage is ramping up to 80, 85 degrees, I'm not doing it. I'm doing the fridge. You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Unless you want to leave them on your kitchen
And they
counter.
dry out.
Nice
They dry out a
72.
lot faster in the fridge too. That just sucks the moisture right out of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want, because you got the air and you got everything circulating. But what I'll do, but if you can leave them in that cool garage a couple days and then do it, they come out amazing.
You can smell that now.
Wait till day 3.
Yeah, you can smell it in here now.
Yeah. So for storage purposes and, Jason, you want to open one of these bags for me, and then I'm going to get rid of all this mess here so we can stop. And we got a lot of questions. I know you guys were trying to like kind of do this part, and we'll go another round of questions for Jason.
You want a clean one?
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I bought all these damn Bacchanal bags. I'm going to use them. There we go. Now these are going to go in the bag just so I can basically get them home. And they're already juicing in the... you know what, just for good measure.
Good idea.
Just put a little bit of that here and there. Let them do their thing. Oops. Gosh, I can't wait for next week in here.
Dude.
So 2 days in the fridge or the counter, he asked. Like I said, that is depending on if we are. What the temperatures are at. If they're too warm, we're not going to do them. If they're too warm, we're not going to do them. Here's a garbage. Yep.
Your best idea to add scent to your eggs is do them as you go. Don't do them.
Yeah.
I don't even do them the morning of. I don't do them when I'm curing them. I just do them when you're using them out on the river.
Very nice.
Jordan's over here like getting ready for work.
I was thinking I was going to do the leader tying thing, but you're a much better multitasker with the leader tying thing than I am today. So I didn't bring them.
Now, so the night before, so I've defrosted my eggs. I'll drain out what I want to whatever tackiness I want. And then I like to cut them up into baits.
Why not?
And in fact, even tomorrow, like we're going to go hover fishing. So I've got jars of eggs that are defrosting on the counter. I'm going to take those out. I'm going to strain them off just probably like for an hour. It won't be a very long time. And then I'm going to cut them into the baits that I'm going to use. And I'm not going to do all my eggs for tomorrow, but I'm going to do a pretty good chunk just so I don't have to do it in the morning. I'm going to cut them all up into my bait size. Right now, I'll just say it, water's low, clear. I mean, this is kind of going for everywhere unless it's a glacial fed river. With that low, clear water, small baits, like small baits. I'm not using things that are like the size of golf balls. We're talking like nickels. And so I'm going to cut a lot into my little nickel-sized pieces, and then I'm going to add them into my little Tupperware containers. And I'm going to personally use some bloody tuna anise tomorrow. Yeah. What's your go-to right now? Or you want to tell
that or salmon slammer?
That or salmon slammer.
Yep.
Take a little bit of that.
The most productive.
Yep. Okay, good. Because I'll probably use some salmon slammer now. Yeah. But because I've been using the bloody tuna anise. Yeah. But I'll take a little bit of that and put that oil over the eggs, light massage, and let them sit overnight. And by tomorrow morning, when I take that bait out, I put it on the guy's hook. It goes fishing. It is going to be dialed. But that's when I'm going to add my scent. I don't want to put scent on days ahead of time. Not that it wouldn't hurt, but it's just the ability to refreeze those eggs or restore those eggs or dry those eggs after that doesn't seem to work. But I still want to give them some time for those eggs to absorb that oil and absorb that scent. Yep. So hopefully that answers the scent question. Did you add or change anything to that, Jason?
As far as what?
Just add the time adding scent, or how long you would store your eggs after that, or any of that?
Nope. I usually add a small amount of scent the night before, small amount, just a dribble, and then do it to bite whatever in the morning, of course, as you're getting your bait dish ready.
I do it as I go, just because every day is different.
Gotcha.
That's my thought on it.
Oh, I didn't bring it in. I found in my wife's kitchen these little Tupperware containers that have like individual like slots, and the lid is attached to it. And it flips open and it locks. Handy. And it's flat and wide, and it's like low profile, so the wind doesn't blow it over.
Oh, perfect.
I know we need to.
That's important up there.
We need to sell. Oh, thank you, I for the $10 super chat, and we got another super chat from Kyle Henderson that says, "What's your go-to steelhead cure?" We talked about that.
It would be two of them. The Fuse Steelhead blend and the liquid egg cure are both really good. The
Oh, we
liquid
didn't
egg
even talk
cure-
about liquid egg cures.
Yeah.
Why didn't we do any liquid egg cure?
Well, that's a real easy one to figure out. Just what
Yeah,
I do
let's
is
talk
what
about
I do
liquid egg
is,
cure. That's
if
a
you want the
no-brainer.
easiest cure in the world to do your eggs with, is do the same process. Cut your skein in thirds, put them in a quart jar, and just all the way up to the line there,
You
full
want
eggs. Take that liquid egg cure, pour it on there until it covers the cure. Put the cap on and
Oh,
just
that
kind of roll it
sounds
like
bad.
this, and that'll move the cure throughout the eggs. And then top it off, and then just put the cap on it, and about every 3 to 4 hours, flip it over, and just let it cure overnight. And usually by morning, every bit of that liquid will be gone, and those eggs will be full and just beautiful looking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Liquid egg cure brine. So like I like to do my steelhead in liquid brine. I like to do my coho eggs in liquid brine. Because that process, taking them out and then straining off. You do it to where it just absorbs it all, but
In a quart jar,
yeah.
a lot of times it'll be perfect.
Right.
With just that. But I still take them out and let them air dry just to firm up.
Right, and so a lot of times, like my coho eggs, they seem to be casting behind bobbers, and so doing the liquid cure, doing like any kind of liquid brine with any of the cures, taking them, it's a very good process to air dry and make a very durable egg. You can literally make them rubber,
Yeah. Yep.
and that stuff is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Single eggs too. If you guys are doing the single egg stuff
Oh,
over
you
in the
single
Midwest,
eggs out there.
Yep.
Well, should we give a giveaway?
I think we should.
We got a hat. We got the line keeper bands and a last
That's the last separate cure.
a brand new one.
I was gonna say, not one that was
One that's covered
used
in egg
and
goop now.
used and handled by us. Liquid egg cure was great for rehydrating and replumping some deflated eggs from last year. I'm sure it would. Yeah, there you go.
Fuse, as far as California running cure down there, the Fuse is a great formula.
Someone said you cannot buy sodium sulfite, or borax cure in California. You can't use borax? I had a customer telling me this like last week. I was like, what?
I never heard
Yeah.
of it. But I don't know for sure, but I've never heard of it.
Right.
We send borax to California all the time.
Yeah. Right. He was telling me that. I was just like, what?
I was waiting for
Well,
you
I
to
didn't argue. One other thing too, guys, and Steve always likes to talk about that, but it says the Procure bottles that have the sticker on it that say meat organ guidelines.
Right.
You want to touch on that?
Nothing changed.
Right. So even though it met the organ
says that-
guidelines,
it said that just to keep the peace, but our cures never changed, and there was never an issue with them.
right. So your guys' cure always fell within the guidelines
Yeah.
of the organ
Right.
sulfite thing, which turned out to be not a thing.
Right.
But if you find a sticker,
They use sodium sulfite in water treatment plants. There's
right,
sodium sulfite dumped in all the time.
right.
It's-
So if you see stickers like that, some people would like not buy it because like, oh, that's a different formula
Same formula.
than regular red hot double stuff without the sticker.
Right.
So if you feel bad about it, just take the sticker off.
We don't
You'll
even
be
put
good.
the stickers on them anymore.
Oh, you guys don't?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind then.
No.
I just remember Steve always would talk about that. It's always
Yeah.
a pretty funny story.
Yeah. No, it's nothing ever changed.
Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Nothing changed. I should win something for just saying I'm a Clint fan. You have one.
I have a fan. I have a fan.
How about you rig your eggs on the hook for bobber fishing?
I don't have to be a different.
How are we going to do that right now?
Do what now?
Rig
Rig it.
eggs on the hook for bobber fishing.
Now we're gonna have to just make that a whole nother.
I have a feeling that between now and the next couple weeks, we'll probably do, especially as the rains start to show up and people start transitioning really into the tributaries, and as we get into late Coho and early winter steelhead, we'll be talking about that. For the time being, go on addicted fishing. We've got plenty of how-to videos. I know I've got some where I'm showing that how to tie the egg loop and how to use the egg loop. And you can search on the channel for that, and you will see kind of the exact way. It'll probably be a little easier to do that than trying to formulate that together real quick for you. But we will be talking a lot about that stuff in depth over the next few weeks. But in the meantime, there's videos out there.
Yes, lots. There's probably 6 different fall Chinook or Coho or Steelhead videos on how to
Bobber
use
fishing,
eggs.
Yeah.
on the YouTube channel. So just check her out, you guys.
I think didn't we just post one?
No, I just reshared it, I think.
There you go.
It's all yours, brother.
Yeah.
All right, Clint, pick a winner. How many people we
Pick
got
a
watching
wiener.
real quick?
Oh, sure.
You're busy. Of course you're busy. We've got almost 600 of you guys watching. So apparently we started at like just under 5 and we got 6.
So the last video that
Oh,
came
go ahead,
out
Clint.
3 days ago was with Jason and it
Oh,
go
hover
through
fishing.
Steve. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they go through rigging
Oh.
it, everything. It came out 3 days
Do you guys show some egg stuff in that?
Yep.
Like how to like egg loop everything?
Steve showed how
Steve
to
went over all
There you go. So the second most recent, there was the Karen video and the one right before that. The one right before that. Jason Hamley is featured in that. They go up there and whoop up on some salmon and they show you guys exactly how to do it. So good call.
Yeah, maybe you should watch the videos.
Good. Maybe I should watch the videos. That's probably a fact. I should probably watch the videos.
Jeez, Clint.
I knew Jordan was trying to hoard all that stuff. Yeah, it kind of looks. He's just. Yeah, I didn't.
No, I'm just getting ready, guys.
No, I didn't. I didn't need
getting
anybody.
ready.
I didn't need anybody. Don't worry
No,
about
I was just getting ready for Kim.
it. Yeah. Yeah. What did you leave? I do want those boraxes. I'm just kidding. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Give them a comment like what their favorite cure is.
What is your favorite egg cure combination scent? Like, let us know. Is it the Addicted Blend, Bloody Tuna Oil? You're a fan of Red Hot? I think everybody in the Northwest at some point in time has caught fish on Red Hot double stuff. I don't think there's probably a human salmon fisherman out there who hasn't. And if you have, then or if you haven't used it, then you probably haven't caught very many fish. I'm just gonna say that. Mic drop. No. Boom. Yeah. So comment what you guys like to use. What's your favorite Procure product? Do you guys ever use the bait buttons with your eggs? I don't. Do you? Yeah. Yeah.
I dinked around with them for a little bit, and the bait comes off.
Yeah. Usually it's not the problem with the going down the hook. It's the problem with the other little fish grabbing it. Yeah. Good stuff.
It just has a way of dissipating and going away.
Clunt eggs, exactly. I thought Jordan was getting a giveaway. Right?
Exactly.
Nope. Yeah, he gave it away.
Yeah,
Jordan won. Jordan won. Oh man. Bloody tuna oil and krill powder. Yep. Salmon slammer. What is salmon slammer? It's more of a garlicky kind
It's
of
got
scent.
garlic. It's got egg. It's an egg base, and so it's a heavy oil, and it's got some fish
properties.
Yeah, fish properties.
Fish pieces in there. It's got some fish.
Yeah.
Got some fish.
It's a good scent. It's fantastic this time.
I used the Addicted Cure on my eggs for hover fishing and at some lake, some crappy lake called Drano, and killed it first time. I would recommend using it.
That day we did the show, that guy that was with us, he was running the krill all day. He did really good with it.
With the krill?
He was definitely the hot rod.
Damn, I need to get some krill on my eggs tonight.
But day in, day out, every day up there, the salmon slammer has been definitely probably the most productive.
Salmon slammer?
Yep.
Did you bring a bottle of salmon slammer? I think I probably have a bottle somewhere.
I would think.
Krill powder and sugar. Anise bloody tuna. Fuse and red hot. I use borax here. Can you touch on the difference between oils and gels besides the viscosity? Yeah, I mean, really, that's what it is. I mean,
the gels are really good for if you're running 360s with spinners to put on the tubing or on the hook. The oils are better for bait. They absorb into the bait better, and they'll slowly leach out. If you put the super gel on the bait, the only bad part is if you get current that comes along, that gel will blast right off the bait. It more or less just slides right off of it.
There's nothing for it to stick to,
There's
really.
nothing for it to stick to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If you
plastic
crammed
of
it
some
inside
sort.
of it, inside of your eggs, and maybe squirted some in there, you could get a little bit of life out of it. But
especially once you get into the colder water, it seems to kind of not solidify, but it definitely is just going to clump.
Yeah. But for spinners and putting on your tubing or anything like that, gel's definitely the way to go. But with bait, oil, for sure.
Yep. Is there a promo code for Procure for the viewers?
Or
yes, there
just
is.
Indeed.
20% off for 2 days on the Procure website. ADX20, all caps. Use it. Let us know if you put an order in.
And make sure to stress their website because people are going to say they tried it on ours and it didn't work. I guarantee you.
Yeah, it's on Procure's website, which they have all the products. Check it out. Fuse, tuna oil. I'm a Procure virgin. Well, then you are missing out. Been watching your videos on how to cure eggs. Well, why do you suck so hard?
Marlon just wakes up to come in here and yell at me.
Exactly. I love it. That's what I love about it right there.
This is
great.
not just on camera. They beat him up.
On the river.
Behind the scenes.
Make fun of my body.
Make fun of my body.
Would Procure ever consider making a cure for sturgeon fishing with the salmon eggs?
We do. It's the sturgeon cocktail is an egg base.
There you go. So there's
The
sturgeon frenzy.
frenzy is a clam base.
Ah.
Yep.
Sturgeon frenzy's clam base, sturgeon cocktail, salmon egg
I
base.
just learned something tonight.
There you go. I know. Well, that's why frenzy works so well
Yeah.
for where I fish it. Yeah.
Yep.
Damn it, Clunt. Exactly.
We sell a pile of it down for guys fishing in California.
Cool.
The cocktail or the frenzy?
Both.
Both.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Will the code work at Procure's storefront? You guys have a storefront now?
Yeah.
So someone can walk into Procure?
Well, yeah, but
It's just someone at the desk?
yeah.
You're not a retail store.
Grab
really.
you one from the back.
But you will sell someone.
Yeah, it's just
Oh, wow.
more or less.
Heck yeah. Buy it online.
It's easier.
Marlon says. Marlon told you to buy it online. Okay, yeah, Jordan, let's do your giveaway.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, let's do that, guys. Let's go for it. So gel for my mag lip. Yes.
These three things. Drum roll, please.
Yep, we got
Random
right
click,
here.
random.
TJ McNamara, fuse only and hope for the best. That's right.
Yes.
It's a good way to start. So TJ, I think you know the drill. You definitely tune into these and check them out. Email orders at addicted.fishing. Tell us you won the second prize pack on the Procure night. We'll hook you up. Congratulations.
It's kind of like 24-24 go fast.
24-24 go fast.
Fuse only and hope for the best.
That's fuse. We might have to use that. Yeah. What do you? Yeah, it's fuse only. Hope for the
That's
best.
awesome. TJ, you won yourself a pretty cool little prize here.
Fuse only. Let it rip. Hope
And
the
for the
best.
great new saying, we'll throw an extra borax in there. So that's
There
a
you
big
go.
last prize pack.
The borax that I
That's
wanted.
the only
The
thing
borax that I wanted to take.
Jordan-
Jordan just gave it away. So I guess I'll have to take it.
True.
We definitely will not be giving that away because we will not be shipping that board.
Okay. So, take that back. Sorry, TJ. You lose.
Oh man! All right, guys. Tomorrow night at Bob's, we will see you guys at the
Yes.
third annual Fall Bash. Get there early. We'll
Cannot
get there
wait.
5, 9 o'clock. We've got pizza. We've got giveaways. It'll be a good time as always.
Free stuff for the first 100 people that show up, and free stuff for every kid that shows up.
Yep, kids.
Free stuff
Kids,
for the
we
first
hook it up.
100 that show up, you guys, what Marlon said, and free stuff
We got
for
some
every
prize
every
packs.
kid.
Every kid.
Every kid will get a fun free prize. That will probably catch them a fish.
That's you. That'll work. That'll work. Real fast. One more quick question.
We have a coloring book coming.
Oh, coloring books. Neat. My first time using Procure, it was 2007, and I've been hooked on their product ever since. Corey,
No pun intended.
that is a no-brainer. Congratulations. And yeah, I think we'll leave it at that. Jason, thank you for coming
Appreciate
in
you
tonight.
guys having me.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Hopefully you guys learned a lot. Be sure to take advantage of that code, guys. You guys got 2 days, 20%. We'll see you guys tomorrow at the Fall Bash at Bob's
Woo!
Sporting Goods Longview,
Yeah.
5 o'clock.